Greetings, YouTube. Today, I realized something that I have never done. I have never given a tour of my shack. This is Kilo Delta 9 November Tango Delta. So, what a good day to give a quick tour of my shack. And I'm going to name this the 10-cent tour. It's going to be a little lengthy, so if you want to sit all the way through it, so be it. First of all, I'm going to take a backward view of it. Sorry for the shaking around. I'm still recording on an iPad. My shack is actually in my living room of my house. I used to have it in one of the other rooms, and you know, I just decided that I don't like being isolated to a room. I want to be out here in the central room with my wife, and she enjoys listening. She's not a ham, but when I'm gone to work, she leaves a lot of these radios stay on, and she just listens to them. So here we are, my living room, and I guess that I will probably start. Let's start on the left over here, since I'm left-handed. And we'll start with my amplifier. This is almost brand new Meritron AL80B. I wanted a new amp. I paid the money and I sprung for it. It doesn't really get used that often. I do use it on occasion. I've got my settings already written down so I can just go to it really fast. I just didn't want a solid state amp. I wanted to get a good old tube amp. That was just my preference. Over here, believe it or not, this Swan Meter is one of the most accurate analog meters I have ever owned in my life. I got this at a estate sale, and it was covered with dirt and grime with a whole bunch of other stuff, and I cleaned it up and put it here in my shack. And you know, it lines up with what my radios say. If my radios say they're putting out 100 watts, this thing is almost dead on. If it says they're 200 watts, it's right on the 200 mark. That old Swan meter is just, man, this thing just really works good. I just can't say enough good things about it. I do have an LPA 100 ordered, and it's going to be on the way as soon as they get some hard to find parts, but it's going to go right here on top of this Swan, and the Swan's probably going to stay in my shack for a long time to come. Up here, this is an old radio. This is an old Kenwood. What model was this? A 430. This radio right here is just a spare, and I use it on occasion because it puts out a little over 200 watts. I wish they still made radios like this today, where they put out that much power instead of 100. A lot of times I'll use this radio just to go out and see if I can catch some DX on and never have to use my amplifier. On the days when I just need a little bit of power, I'll fire this one up. Here we have my Yaesu Rotator. It operates a hex beam that's up on top of my house. The hex beam, you're not going to see a picture of it today. If you want to see a picture of it, go to my Z page. I've got all my antennas on my Z page, but it's only 23 feet up, and I'm going to put it up higher. But even at 23 feet, it works surprisingly well. I mean, a person could leave it there and probably get by, but I happen to have a 40-foot tower that I just have laying around that was donated to me, so I'm going to put it up on there as soon as I get some help and some time. This is my Kenwood 2-meter FM radio. I think I got it turned down right now. Nothing happening right now because it's already in the midday, but there's a net that goes on here in the region in the mornings and in the evenings. I don't really talk on 2-meter too much. I mostly just listen, but it's there. It only gets FM, nothing else. I've had other radios that will go down to 2-meter sideband, but I've just found them dead and got rid of them because I just found no reason to have them. Let's jot down here. Let's go down here to this. Here's a Yaesu 950. An FT 950. This is an older radio. It's been out for quite a few years, and I bought this used. It has not given me any problems, and I really like this radio a lot. It has just been, since I've owned it, a fantastic radio. I like the transmit, I like the receive on it, and I just think it's a pretty radio. Something nice to look at. Don't be fooled by the Yaesu sticker. I'm not a big Yaesu fanboy. I'm a fanboy about any radio that works and runs and transmits and receives. I just happen to have the sticker, so I stuck it on there. My pair of headphones, I don't really use them too much. I'm not a headphone type of guy. I use them every now and then, but I just don't like anything being stuck on my ears for so long. Since we're down here on the below, here's my Yamaha Mixer. Now, I do not use this mixer for transmitting. This is only on receive. I have all of my radios piped into this mixer so I can control the bass and the treble and just make it a little bit pleasant sounding to the ears. The switches that are down there on the left, those are all the volume controls, and the little green knobs, they give me some adjustments, some fine adjustments. And what that runs to is, up here I have a JBL 2-piece speaker that really brings out the tones, man. I did a separate video on this. If you want to hear about this, look on my channel and you'll see I did a review. Last time I looked, I only had 1 thumbs down. I don't know what kind of idiot would want to come there and watch a video of me demonstrating a speaker and give me a thumbs down. But anyway, it really got some good sounds to it. I really like the way that this speaker receives. And later on in the video, I'll actually fire up one of my radios and we'll turn it on, so you'll get a little bit of a chance to listen to it. Okay, so I don't get turned around here since we're working from the top. This is just a Bearcat AM sideband radio. A lot of people laugh at me, but we actually have a net around here that talks on the CB band, channel 14. And I've got a lot of friends on there that will probably never have their ham ticket, but they still like to talk, so I keep it around and we talk on it on occasion. But right now I don't have it hooked up because I haven't been on AM in a couple of weeks. Working our way down is my Comm 7300. Man, a lot of people own these radios and they were real popular. I've got this one here, it's brand new. They had a $100 rebate on it and I just couldn't pass it up. Now I'll tell you what, out of all of my radios, this radio right here has the best sounding receive of any of my rigs. Now don't make a mistake, I'm not saying it has better receive. I'm saying it has better sounding receive. It has really good RX audio coming out of it. I think it's just for the fact that Comm did a lot of work to this radio, making the transmit sound good. Anybody that's ever heard one of these on the air know that they transmit really well. But what you may not know is they also got really good receive, and you can go in and adjust your bass and your treble, and it just really brings out the bass and the and the tones. So I really like this radio. I don't use it every day. It's just a sometimes radio. I've got several transmitters, you're going to see that, and I just bounce back and forth between them. I just share them. Since we're working our way down, let's go down here. Here's my Kenwood. I love this radio. This is one of my main talkers right here. This radio right here, I bounce back and forth between this one and another Yaesu that I got, but this radio here really has some good sound to it. It's a TS590SG, in case you're wondering. Before this, I had just the S model, the TS590S. I upgraded to this one so I could get the IF out capability, so I could hook it up to a PAN adapter. And I was under the impression that the only difference between the two models is that they added the IF port. But you know, after I got this radio, it seems to me like there's a lot of better changes on this. These buttons right here, they got a real nice rubbery, feel to them. And I don't remember my last one feeling like this or having this. And it's just really a nice smooth piece of equipment. This here just reminds me of a big aluminum block. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just really the curves and it's just really aesthetically pleasing. Whenever you touch this radio, you just feel quality all through it. Everything is just nice and firm, and it just feels really well manufactured. And I get a lot of good audio reports on this, so I really like this radio a lot. And like I said, it's one of my main talkers. That thing's coming alive. Let's turn that down. Anyway, this is what I'm using to talk on the Kenwood. This, believe it or not, is just a 3-pin XLR microphone that I've had for a long time. They don't make it anymore. It's an Audio Technica. I can't remember the model of it. You can oh, there it is, an ATR 30. I happen to just get back in here. I happen to just have that microphone laying around. I don't even remember how I got it. I think of stuff I traded for. This bass right here, this INRAD bass, you have to buy the cable, but you can put any XLR microphone in here, and the cable will snap into here, and it'll snap into the back of the microphone. And then, so you have to buy your cable. You have to either buy a Kenwood, a Yaesu, or a ICOM cable specifically for the radio that you want to run it. But the beauty of this microphone is you can run any 3-pin XLR microphone that you want. You're not limited to anything, and there's nothing on the microphone to adjust. So I can take this mic and change it from one radio to the other, as long as I got the appropriate cable, and just use it. And if I want to experiment around with different microphones, I just go into my box and grab any XLR microphone, and it just unsnaps right here. You put it in, snap it back in, and you're good to go. It just works. I got this on DX Engineering. This is one of my better purchases, and I'm really, I know I'm tooting this horn here, but this is another piece of equipment that is just really rock solid. If you felt this, it's not all flimsy and loose and plasticky feeling. This thing here probably weighs about 3 pounds, just the base alone. And if you push down on this push to talk button, you can just feel the quality in this thing. They really, they did a good job on this. I'm happy with it. The only thing I don't like about it, this lock button right here is a little bit difficult to work, but I don't use that anyway. I don't never lock down a microphone. I'm not that long-winded. But anyway, so if you guys are like that and you're ever interested in one of these, I know they have them on DX Engineering, at least here up until May of this year. They're still available, and I think they're like $79, and then the cable's going to cost you like another $14, something like that. So it was worthy investment to me. Now here is my other main talker. This is a FTDX 3000, and this is another radio that I just really like. I'm happy with it. I like the way it feels. I like the way it talks. It's just a good sounding, good rig. I had some hams on the net help me dial it in. I've got the settings from the microphone where everybody says it just sounds the best, and I've finally got it set like that. So I'm just really happy with this rig, and I have it hooked to this. This is a dedicated laptop just for this. And yeah, I know that probably sounds like overkill, but this is one of those HP 2-in-1 flippable convertible laptops, so you can flip it around like I've got it the other way and just have the screen, so it fits perfectly right on top of this radio. And I've got this screen to look at when I want to dial in some signals. So here, let's do a quick demo of it real quick. I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit. It'll be, there we go, we'll get it up.
I'm gonna get on back out of the way. Thanks for coming back to me, and we catch you shortly, Jim.
So we're on 40. So if I want to try to find something else out, I can just come up here and just touch. Well, I screwed it up because I'm trying to hold this, but touch, and then just dial it in the rest of the way. This is really hard to do, trying to see this thing and hold this iPad. Almost had it. There we go. So the band's conditions aren't really that good today. They've been down. There's a lot of static crashes. But let's say I just want to move over here to this one. No, let's pick this one. Well, I overshot it. Nope, almost got it. See, I can just touch it and just get it really close to where I want to go, and then I just fine-tune it in.
Well, but hang on, I'll look.
You know, I just really like the setup here. It's just a lot easier, and if you're not familiar with this, you've never had a pan adapter set up or anything like that. Here, let's get this turned back down so I can finish talking in this video. If you've never had any of this pan adapter set up and you need help, just contact me. I've been working a lot with this. This is SDR Uno. It came with my, let's see if I can show you a picture of it. Wade, see that little box down there? I don't have it out, but that's SDR Play. I spent about $100 on it. Yeah, it costed a lot of money, but it's a free download with this software, and it just works really well, man. You can set this up to scan channels. You can set it up. You can select your band from up here. You don't even have to touch your radio, honestly. You can just forget you even have a radio, and you can do everything from here. Well, except for tuning, it's a little monotonous. If you to fine tune it, laptop and desktop users usually use a mouse, but I've got a touchscreen laptop, so I can just touch and get it close to where I want it to go. So it's just really quick pickup signals. Yeah, I hop on. I don't want to spend a lot of time just browsing through the frequencies. I can just see what's happening, touch it, and go. So that's connected to this. I've got another one on my computer that's connected to this Kenwood. It's a different program. It's not SDR Uno, but I'm not going to demo that today because I don't use more than one radio at a time. I've got everything hooked to one power supply, and I don't want to overload anything, so I don't have this Kenwood turned on. Let's move on down here. My tuner, my MFJ Versa tuner. This is advertised as a, I think, a 1.5 kilowatt tuner. Don't be fooled by that marketing crap. It doesn't handle that much, but it does work good. Tuner does indeed work good. I mean, it tunes everything. I got right now, I have an 80 meter dipole connected just to it, and I'm actually using this as my antenna switcher because I'm just short of switches right now. I bought one of those MFJ 1709 switches, I think, where you can connect multiple antennas to multiple radios, and I had to send that thing back. There was something wrong with it. I had really high SWRs, and I just couldn't get that thing worked out. So that would have been a good solution, but it didn't work, so I sent it back. So I'm just using this as my main switcher, and then up here I have an alpha delta switcher that I use to switch from rig to rig. So that way, if I want to listen to my Kenwood, I just flip it to the Kenwood. If I want to listen to one of my Yaesus, I just flip it there. Let's see what we got down here. That's an old Kenwood. It works, but it's really filthy. I've got to restore it yet. It's one of the things that came in an estate sale that I recently bought. So that's another thing. I bought out an estate sale up in St. Louis, Missouri. I went up there to get about 5 radios, and I ended up buying out the whole place. The guy took a lump sum, and I had to make 2 trips. But I own that house that's across the street there. It's just a gutted junk house, but I've got that thing loaded with Swans and Drakes and all kinds of old Heath kits, stuff that I've got to go through. I have got a tremendous amount of old school radios. So moving over here, this is actually one of the Heath kits that came out of there. This is what is that, an HW101. It works good. I cleaned it up. It was really nasty and filthy. I've still got to go inside and restore it because I'm going to keep this radio. I sold a bunch of other ones, but I'm going to hang on to this one just because it was one of the cleanest ones. Power supply works. I found that external speaker that I matched up to it, so this works. And I got it over here off to the side because I use it sometimes. So let's back up here. You guys may think I'm into red. Well, it didn't work out that way. My son's actually the one that gave me that red LED strip light because he got aggravated with it. Couldn't figure out how to get it working, so he gave it to me, and I strung that up there, and then I just started buying everything in red after that just to match. So, that's why you see the red chair. I bought that at Christmas time. I chose red, and the sign I bought off eBay, I chose red just to match everything. So It's not so much that I'm into the red color, but you know, it was given to me and it just works, right? So I've got my stereo right here. This is an old stereo. I've had this thing since, I think this thing's from the 80s, man. But I've got everything, all my everything else piped through this. So I have a supercomputer here that I built. This thing will handle anything. It's like got the second to highest graphic card. I can't remember the model because I'm not good with remembering numbers, but I spent a fortune building this computer. It'll handle anything I throw at it. So I've got a bunch of my stuff piped through all this. It all goes, goes through the speaker system and comes back down through the subwoofer. So between all this, my sound setup, I've got a good setup here that just keeps me occupied. My shack changes from time to time. Sometimes I'll buy a new piece of equipment and I'll sell something. I'll get tired of something and I'll just move everything on. But right now, things are just pretty much going to stay the way that they are because I'm happy with all of my radios that I've got in my shack right now, and I don't really want to get rid of anything. So anyway, I know this was a long video. I know it was probably hard hanging in there, but here, let me see if I can back up just a little bit more without tripping over something. We'll just get a farther away shot. There it is. Oh, by the way, the desk, I built this desk myself. This is planks that I went down and got from the lumber store. I mean, not the lumber store, but like Menards. I went down there and bought these shelves, and I just built this thing so that way I could fit everything the way that I wanted it. It's changed a couple of times. I used to have a different setup. In fact, here's the remnants of a piece that I used to have over there, but I got rid of that radio and I had to fit a new one in. So that's a good thing about it. I can go back down and get these shelving and change things around when I want to. Okay, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you're even interested in watching any of this, my shack as of May 2020. And of course, that can change at any time. But let me know what you think. If you like it, don't like it, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you don't like about it. Just don't give me a thumbs down. All right, man. 73.